Everyone, to this week's episode of Night Talk. I've got my voice back. Yes, all right, we're back in the saddle. And with me in studio today, my sidekick, partner in crime, color commentator from the Knights of Meaford games on Rogers TV, Mr. Gord Chapman. Gord, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. It's different being here on this, so it's kind of nice to be with you. Nice.
All right. Fantastic. Now, Gord, you filled in for a game. Again, I was resting my vocal cords there for a game, and the game was against Seguin last Thursday night in Meaford. Let's take a look at the highlights of that one with Gord Chapman at the helm.
Well, absolutely. They're ready to go whenever we play them.
Puck in deep in the corner. Seguin trying to get it around as they're moving that puck through the slot. Here's a shot right on goal. And Edmonds, they score. 4-point games that we talk about in the business. Loose puck in front. Edmonds gets the stop. And it went under Arnott. There's a shot off a leg in front. Back to Naskov on this side on the right wing. Naskov twists and turns. Looking back. Arnott on the point. In behind the net, trying to set it up, looking for the back door. There it is. There's the shot, score.
Absolutely.
Number 34, David Hooper. Hooper up along the boards. 84, in on goal. There's Boudreau. Puts it away. Goal in the corner. Loose puck in front, off the skate. As Queenan had a chance to do something, couldn't. Puck is about to score.
Yeah, attaboy. Harley Haggerty right there.
Puck is difficult. Naskov, pass right inside, there's the shot, score!
Love the way Brian's very trustful having that guy in front of me.
There's the shot on goal by 77 Lowry and went off at the pad into the corner, back in front, there's the shot, scores!
Callum Queenan, a good boy from England.
And as you can see, the Knights of Meaford defeated the Seguin Huskies by a score of 7-3. A very important game for Meaford in that one. Seguin sitting just above them in the standings, so two very important points for Meaford. Meaford had two more games on the weekend. We'll get back to that Seguin game in just a minute here. Parry Sound, Meaford playing in Parry Sound, and the Knights playing the teams in the top of the standings very, very well, playing against them very closely. Parry Sound would come out on top by a score of 7-6 in a hard-fought battle by the Knights of Meaford. That was on Saturday. Then on Sunday, back home in Meaford, the Knights playing Elmagwin. Elmagwin had a 10-game winning streak going at one point. Again, one of those teams that they want to catch. Meaford got a bit of a break here because Elmagwin had played 4 games and 4 nights, and they were at the tail end of that one. Maybe a bit tired, but the way the Knights have been playing of late, the Knights come out with a 5-1 victory over Elmagwin. The Knights have won 7 of their last 9 games and are really on a roll. Gord, let's go back to that Seguin game. Give us some of your thoughts on that one.
Well, I thought it was an interesting contest because they started out, they were behind 2-0 after the first 5 minutes of the game, and it looked like Seguin was really coming on and going to do a number on Meaford. They settled themselves down, they got into a rhythm, started using the stuff that they've been using in the last number of weeks with getting that puck in quick out of their zone, up through the neutral zone and in and setting stuff up. Power play worked tremendously well. I think they scored 3 goals on the power play. They are probably one of the hottest teams in the league right now. There's 7 wins in their last 9 games, I think it is, and so I think it was a turning point for them too, because they did get down. Seguin's been a pretty good team all year, but I don't think there were soft goals because I thought he had them and Edmonds. But they went under them and it was 2-0, and then bang, they came back, and then 7 unanswered goals basically. Let one in later on in the game. Something else I want to mention too, Jordan Uremchuk came on and did the color for me on on a Saturday or Thursday and took my place, right? Took your place. Big shoes to fill. Glad to have you back. But Meaford has picked up some players. They've got Naskov. They picked up
Derek
Hooper.
Boudreau.
Derek Boudreau got his first goal the other night on Thursday night. So Meaford is starting to look really good right now, and there's some teams in this league are now looking over their shoulder what's coming out of the
Absolutely, and I think I mentioned on shows earlier that Meaford hit their stride in that game, in particular playing against the Bradford Bulls when they won 6-2 that night, and they haven't stopped. They haven't looked back ever since. And as you mentioned, in the Seguin game, they get down 2-0. They don't panic. They've done that a couple of times this year against Orangeville, where Meaford were down 2 minutes, down 2-0, and came back and won that game. So let's take a look at the standings, Gord. Where we sit right now. As you can see, New Tecumseh still on top, 27-2, 54 points. Let's take a run down to number 9, Meaford. As you can see, Meaford with 22 points, only 1 point behind Seguin. That's how important those 2 points were on Thursday night, Gord. And they're within striking distance of Bradford and with games in hand.
Well, they like I said, they're moving in the right direction. If they continue at the pace that they're moving, they're going to move well in close to 6th place, like where they were last year. And they're only 10 points out of 6th. They're 9 points out of 6th, actually 10 points out of 6th, and 1 point out of 8th. And Bradford are tied for 23. So they picked up 2 points, 4 points out of 3 games this weekend, counting Thursdays. So Meaford is moving, and they're moving in the right direction. Talked to Nathan Parrish after the game. He was ecstatic. He's really pleased with what they're playing. And darn, they're taking Perry Sound in Perry Sound. They lose the game 7-6, and that's a pretty close score. I know it's junior hockey, but they were in their arena, and that's a tough place to play.
Absolutely, and Nathan Parrish said right back in training camp when he said to me that he believed that he had a lot of talent on this team, a lot of balance on this team, maybe a bit more talent than what he had last year. So, by trying to bring that all together with all those brand new players. So,
the other thing that I want to touch base on too is that they are stronger defensively than I think they were last year.
You're right.
They have 7 defensemen in camp right now that can play. Any one of them can play in the top 4 on their team, and so their defensive coverage in their own zone is far superior, and the good teams with the scorers are having difficulty penetrating and getting in on them. So. With that being said, they've also strengthened the goal with Edmonds coming back. So Meaford, nothing but rosy skies as far as I'm concerned, as you're going to see in the interim and in progressing. So, but getting back to what we said with the first game we did as a broadcast, this is a whole brand new team. They are now starting to get their own character and starting to get their own identity, and I'm warning the rest of the league, watch out.
Yep, absolutely. So they do have a couple more games coming up here before the Christmas break. No home games, a couple of games on the road. If we could take a look at those upcoming games, big games, 2 teams that are playing, well, New Tecumseh speaks for themselves. And, it looks like we've got 3 games there. Temiskaming is really hot right now, too. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they knocked off New Tecumseh just the other night. I think Temiskaming beat them in a shootout. So Temiskaming is going to be tough. Return match with Seguin in Seguin prior to the Christmas break. They're 6 points, Gord.
Yep, they can. That makes a huge difference. And Meaford, they're starting. You look at some of the games that they've got coming up. They're going to make a run at it. And a lot of these teams are teams that should be able to beat.
Right. Okay. Let's take a look now at the night's leading scorers, if we could, Mark. All right, Connor Annett still sitting on top as he has, quietly going about his business, 50 points. Alexander Naskov with 47 points. It really starting to pick it up now. Cole McPherson's potted 14. Kyle Stevens again sitting there with 13. But look at Ragnar Rust, 20 points in 13 games. And then your defensive guys in the bottom there, Eric Brennan, you've got Connor Long and Will Vernon. So they're getting a lot of good balance scoring from all over their lineup.
Well, no doubt about it, but again, going back to that defense, they move the puck really, really well. They get us through the neutral zone, and then they're taking part in now the offense. And you can take a look at the scoring. You can see there's got three players that are on the play defense they're the top 10 scoring in Meaford. So they're getting that balance, and of course, if they can continue to do that, it's going to bode well for Meaford coming up in the next 10 games.
All right, Gord. Now it's time for Meet the Knights. I think we've covered everything else. And Meet the Knights, who is it this time? It's Brennan Watson, one of my favorite players on the team.
Mine too.
I hate to say I've got favorites, but I love Brennan Watson. Let's hear what Brennan Watson had to say to the 10 questions. On a sinking ship, which teammate would you want bailing with you?
Oh, probably Kyle Stevens.
All right. Your favorite NHL player?
Rick Nash.
Rick Nash. All right. What do you do when you're not playing hockey?
I'm at work or at the gym or just hanging out with the boys.
All right. And if you could play with 2 other players, a dream line mates, who would they be?
Oh, God. Probably Rick Nash and Stamkos.
All right. If someone plays a gag on you in the dressing room, which teammate would you suspect first?
Oh, probably Connor Long.
Connor Long, he's got lots of votes this year. Your favorite after-game meal? What do you like to eat after the game?
After the game, probably go down to Leaky and have some chicken wings.
Chicken
That'd be
wings.
all right.
Awesome. Okay, it's early in the season, but is there a player that you hate playing against? There's someone that's gotten under your skin so far this year and you don't really like him.
Probably number 27 on the Bulls. Yeah, he's one of those guys, just an agitator, and he's a hard defenseman to play against. So.
All right.
Yeah.
And finally, anybody you'd like to say hello to?
Just my parents back home, mom, dad, how you doing? That's about it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, and thank you very much, Brennan Watson, for doing that. As you can see, I have my Christmas hat on. Gord, I sent the message. You did not wear the Christmas hat, but we'll let it go this time. All right, next time you got to wear the Christmas hat. I'll
sorry.
bring one for you. It's pink. You'll have to wear it.
Okay.
So,
Well,
all right. It's got flashing lights
good.
across the front of it.
Yeah.
It's my wife's. But, all right. Okay, now, something I was going to do here today, and I didn't have time to do it. There's one guy here on that, you know, all of the Meaford Knights games. This is our last show before Christmas. All the Knights games, and I've said it before, this man hauling all the equipment in through the snow, driving over there every Thursday night. He's the man that's responsible for this show, for Night Stock. Forgot the name of it for a second. And I was going to bring in a cutout picture of Mark Perry, but I didn't have time to do it because nobody ever gets to see the face of the man behind the scenes who I say is responsible for everything on the show. Mark, you wouldn't come out here, would you? Put your face on camera, Mark. Is he coming?
Well, I'll tell you,
Get him to come up. Here he comes. All right. I
Mark.
want you up here in between Gord and I just for a second. I want everybody to see the man, the mastermind behind all of this, and the man to thank, Mr. Mark Perry, right here.
Well, Mark.
Okay, here's a man that deserves the applause for everything. And like I say, people see our faces on camera all the
Doesn't have
time.
his
This
Christmas
is
hat
the
on.
man that takes care of all of it. So,
I wasn't supposed to be on.
so on behalf of everyone with the Rogers broadcast of all of the Knights games, and for Night Stock, we'll wish you a Merry Christmas
Merry
and all the
Christmas,
best
everybody.
in the new year. Anybody else?
No, good. Good.
We're all good.
Merry
All right.
Christmas.